Hello, in this video I will be predicting the Champions League, Europa League and Conference League. So, I'm going to be predicting them by predicting the top scorer, top assister, winner, runners-up, deception, surprise, best goal. And that's how I'm going to be predicting these games. So, I'm going to be starting with the Champions League first. So, I think that the winner of the Champions League is gonna be you're gonna be surprised by who I pick. So let's get right into it. Alright, so you're gonna be surprised. So I think the winner of the Champions League this season will be Liverpool. Okay, you might okay guys, y'all might be surprised why I didn't choose Barca. So here's the reason. I think Liverpool are gonna win the Champions League. Here's why. So Liverpool, they have to go on like a massive rebuilding their squad after winning the Premier League last year. So they had to like reinforce positions with the left back. They got that sorted. They signed Milos Kerkez for 45 million euros from Bournemouth, and then they also had to, because Robertson was getting older and they needed a new left back, so they brought in Milos Kerkez. And they also needed a new right back because Trent Alexander, the snake, the traitor left to Real Madrid, and so they needed a new right back. So they signed Jeremy Frimpong because he had a 35 million release clause in his contract, and so they signed him. And then they even signed Florian Wirtz for Bayer Leverkusen for 125 million euros. And they also signed Hugo Ekitike from Eintracht Frankfurt for 80 million euros plus 15 add-ons, so 95 million euros in total. So and on the start of the Premier League season, Liverpool have been cooking. Yeah, they have been cooking. So they beat Bournemouth 4-2 because they're just that good that they beat Bournemouth 4-2. So who scored? I think that Ekitike scored the first goal. Then I think Gakpo 2-0 up. Then Bournemouth 2-2. They came back. Then Mo Salah scored and Chiesa to seal the game at Anfield. And then they had to go to Newcastle, which was technically the Alexander Isak derby because Alexander Isak was with big drama on Newcastle. And so the game finished 3-2 thanks to a last-minute goal from the wonder kid Rio Nguhuma, I think that's how you pronounce it, Nguhuma. And then they beat Arsenal with what a free kick from Szoboszlai that was. And they won every single Premier League game so far. Plus, they signed Alexander Isak for 125 million euros. So their squad is looking very scary. And they have a super team. They're not like the dream squad like Real Madrid with Mbappe, Vinicius Bellingham. Liverpool have one good player, again, every position. They've strengthened their squad over the summer. That squad is looking very scary, man. So here, y'all might be thinking, where am I going to put Barca? So I think Barca are going to reach the semifinals again this year. So we reach the semifinals, but it's just going to be like in 2019. We're going to get knocked out against Liverpool. But I think Barca might win the Champions League next season. So I think Liverpool just have a great team. Alexander Isak with Hugo Ekitike, they're going to play like a 4-4-2. They're like playing 4D chess. So I think that's what's going to happen. So now, I think the runner-up of this year's Champions League is going to be... The runners-up of this year's Champions League, it's going to be either Bayern Munich or PSG. But I think the runners-up are going to be Bayern Munich. So I think, Bayern have had a great start to the season. They absolutely slapped Leipzig 6-0. Then they beat this other team 3-2. My boy Lucho scored 2 goals in 2 games in his first 2 Bundesliga games. what a signing has been for Bayern Munich, 75 million euros, and I think they're gonna finish second in the Champions League. The final's gonna finish 2-1. I think that's my prediction. Who scores for Bayern Munich? Luis Diaz. So Luis Diaz is gonna score for Bayern Munich, but Bayern Munich and the Liverpool goal scorers are gonna be. I think Ekitike is gonna score because he's been playing really well, and I think that Ekitike and Mo Salah is gonna score in the Champions League final. The final will be played 3 hours early instead of the final being played at 9. It's gonna be played at 6 o'clock in Europe. So yeah, so I think Liverpool have a good schedule. They have to play Trent Alexander-Arnold back at the Anfield is low-key crazy because Anfield are gonna they're gonna be Anfield is gonna be very mad at Trent, yeah, because I don't think Trent, the Liverpool fans are gonna be happy to see to see him, so I think Trent is not gonna be welcome there. So wow, Liverpool, they have to go they have to play PSV, they have to play Real Madrid, and like some other teams. Because I forgot. I've only seen Barca's schedule, and I also know that we're gonna have Real Madrid versus Man City for like the billionth time. We've already had this matchup too many times now. So I think Liverpool are gonna win the Champions League. Okay, so now moving on to the surprise. The surprise of the tournament is gonna be. I think the surprise of this year's Champions League season is gonna be Napoli. So yeah, Napoli. Kevin De Bruyne is signed for Napoli. They also got like Noah Lang and like some other players. So I think Napoli are gonna be the surprise team. Yes. We have some other teams that might surprise, like the Kazakhstan team, Kairat. They have Pafos, which they also signed David Luiz. And yeah, so I think the surprise team is gonna be Napoli because they've had like a good start to the season, but I think they're gonna be a surprise because they have Kevin De Bruyne, and I think they're gonna surprise everyone I think they're gonna reach the quarterfinals by like beating a strong team in the round of 16, I think, but then losing the first leg, but then actually coming back. But then they're gonna lose like on penalties in like the quarterfinals. They're gonna lose like a very strong team, I think. And they're gonna beat also a strong team. So I think Napoli are gonna be the surprise of this year's Champions League. Now, okay, Chelsea. I think Chelsea are also gonna reach the quarterfinals. Because I like jinx them every time in the Club World Cup. Yeah, so I'm apologizing to Chelsea right now. I think they're gonna reach the quarterfinals this year and get knocked out like either to Barca, Barca are gonna be playing Chelsea and PSG this season Champions League. So I think that Barca are gonna have decent Champions League run because they're gonna reach the semifinals, but I think that Chelsea are gonna lose to like Liverpool or like Bayern Munich in the round of quarterfinals. So and I'm gonna put Real Madrid to like reach the semifinals and to lose against Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich are gonna get the revenge against Real Madrid. So instead of having an El Clasico final, we're gonna have a Liverpool versus Bayern Munich final. So okay, so now moving on to the top scorer. The top scorer of this year's Champions League is gonna be, I think Gyökeres. Yes, Gyökeres. I know I don't like him right now because the way he's been playing, he always does this. Yeah, he's like flicking his hair all the time, and like so many people are criticizing him. But hear me out. I think Jokic is gonna win the Golden Boot for the Champions League this season because I know it's just the early start of the season. He has like so many more match days to go. I think he's gonna win the Champions League Golden Boot. I know he had a slow start to the season, but I think he's gonna come back and score goals for Arsenal. And I think Arsenal are also gonna reach the quarterfinals. Yeah, and PSG as well. So I think Jokic is gonna reach the Golden Boot for the Champions League this year. So okay, now moving on to the top assister. It's either between I think Lamine Yamal or Cole Palmer, but I think that Lamine Yamal is gonna win the top assister award because yeah, Barcelona. I know we beat Mallorca 3-0 in our opening match day. Then we came back against Levante, but we tied to Rayo Vallecano. But we're playing against Valencia like a 6,000 capacity stadium. The Estadi Johan Cruyff. What the hell is this? So I think Lamine Yamal is gonna like play very well for Barca, and he's gonna deliver so many crosses. So the strikers like Rashford, Lewandowski, and Rafinha can score those goals. So I think Lamine Yamal is gonna win the top assister award wearing the number 10. So I think yeah. And Arsenal, they beat Leeds United 5-0 and Man United 1-0 thanks to a goal from a corner. Of course, they always score from a corner. So yeah, I think that Lamine Yamal is going to win the top assister and Victor Jokic, the top goal scorer. Now, finally, the player of the tournament is going to be Florian Wirtz. Now, hear me out. I know so many people have been criticizing him, but did you see him in the game versus Northern Ireland? He was cooking, and he even scored a great free kick against Northern Ireland in the international break. So I think he's gonna come back strong after the international break, and I think he's gonna create some passes and like score some goals in the Premier League, and like in the Champions League, he's gonna be like the top like key passing. He's gonna create lots of key passes and like score some good goals in the Champions League. And now, like, I mean, the best goal is gonna be replaced for like player of the tournament. So I think that Florian Wirtz will win the best player of the tournament. So there we go. There are Champions League predictions. Now we're gonna move on to the Europa League. So I think that Nottingham Forest are gonna win the Europa League this year. Now I know they lost 3-0 to West Ham, but those goals from West Ham were some defensive mistakes. So I know, and they also beat they tied to Crystal Palace, and I forgot what was their first game of the season. Yeah, they beat Brentford 3-1. Igor Jesus, their new signing, scored in his first appearance for Nottingham Forest. Now listen, I like Igor Jesus. He cooked at the Club World Cup for Botafogo. He even scored against PSG to beat them 1-0. And yeah, I think Nottingham Forest are gonna win the Europa League. Now, here's why I put them 10th in the Premier League. So they can win the Europa League. Because I think they're gonna like focus more on like European football this year, so they can qualify for Champions League next year. So I think Nottingham Forest are gonna win the Europa League. So I think the runners-up of this year's Europa League are gonna be either Celta Vigo, Bologna. We have like so many teams. I think it's gonna be an all-English final again. Nottingham Forest are gonna be playing Aston Villa. So I think that Nottingham Forest are gonna beat Aston Villa in the final. I know actually not. Aston Villa are not gonna be in the final. I think the underdog story continues. Celta Vigo in the final because they have a tough home stadium to play in. Even if that, I've experienced that as a Barca fan. I've been watching the games with Celta Vigo, and we've suffered. We've suffered against Celta Vigo. Once we lost, we were up 3-0, and then they came back 3-3. We were up once 2-0, and they came back and scored 2 more goals. So I think that Celta Vigo, they do have Borja Iglesias, which is good, and yeah. So I think that Iago Aspas as well, a club legend as well. And so I think that Celta Vigo are going to reach the final against Nottingham Forest, and Nottingham Forest are going to the finals going to go 1-1. Okay, 1-1, and I think that's how the game's going to finish. And I think that also Iago Aspas will score for like I think this is gonna be his final year at Celta Vigo. I low-key think that this is gonna be his final year, so I think that he's gonna score on the Europa League final, and I think the score for Nottingham Forest, of course, Igor Jesus. So I think that's how the game is gonna finish 1-1. Now moving on to the surprise. The surprise, keep it Celta Vigo, because I think they're gonna cook in this Europa League season, but they're gonna have a heartbreak in the final and lose on penalties. So I think, yeah, Iago Aspas will do a good job at Celta Vigo. I think this is going to be his final season. Yeah, Celta Vigo, again, surprise, because they're going to reach the final. So, and yeah, they've had a good start to the season, I guess, because they tied to a really, really good Villarreal side, because they've been cooking. That Villarreal team slapped up the hell of Girona 5-0. They also beat Real Oviedo 2-0, but tied to Celta Vigo away, because of course Celta Vigo away is always difficult. So I think, yeah, that's what's gonna happen. So after that, I think the top scorer of this year's Europa League is gonna be Igor Jesus. Oh, and I forgot to do the deception of the Champions League from this season. I think that PSG are going to be the deception, because I know they've had a good season, winning everything last season, but they've made like two signings, I guess, Lucas Chevalier and Zabarani from Bournemouth. So I think that they're going to reach the quarterfinals and like get eliminated. So I think that PSG are going to be the deception this year, because they're not going to be well. That's why I think, because they're gonna be relaxed, because I know that PSG are not gonna have a good season. I mean, they're gonna win the French league and everything, but I don't think they're gonna play well in the Champions League. So I think, yeah, PSG are gonna be the deception of the Champions League. So I think that Igor Jesus is gonna be the top scorer. I think the top assister is gonna be Iago Aspas. Nah, I got Jacob, no, not Jacob Ramsey, because he left to Newcastle from, what was it again? From Aston Villa. So I think like an Aston Villa player, Emiliano Buendia. And so I think Emiliano Buendia, the Argentinian winger, is gonna be the top assister. So those, and I think the best player is gonna be Morgan Gibbs White. So the player from Nottingham Forest is going to be the best player, because he's going to provide lots of key passes and score some good goals. I think he's going to be like the third highest scorer of this year's Europa League. So yeah, those are my predictions for the Europa League. And now moving on to the Conference League. So I think that, okay, now moving on to the Conference League. This is going to be the year of Fiorentina's redemption. I think Fiorentina are going to get the redemption this year after losing 2 in a row finals, getting knocked out in semi-finals against Betis last year. They're gonna do it. They are gonna beat Crystal Palace in the final. Fiorentina are gonna finish 8th in the Serie A, but they're gonna win the Conference League and get revenge. I think this is gonna be Fiorentina's year, and I feel bad for them for like losing 2 in a row Conference League finals under their manager. So I think that's what's gonna happen. I think Fiorentina are gonna win the Conference League this year against Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace are gonna finish 12th, and they're gonna get to a Europe Conference League final. So yeah, and I think the top scorer for Fiorentina is gonna be again Edin Šeško, returning to Europe after Fenerbahce. He's gonna be the top scorer as a striker, and I think that top position is gonna be as a left. What the hell? I think it's gonna be Rex Sakid. Jason Raksaki, the wonder kid from Crystal Palace, and I think he's gonna be the top assister. The deception from the Europa League, I forgot to do that again, is gonna be Aston Villa. And I think that's it. But the deception is gonna be I have no deception in the Conference League, but I think that the surprise is gonna be Crystal Palace reaching the final, but then they're gonna lose sadly. So yeah, those are my UEFA predictions. If you guys like them, tell me down in the comments below. So yeah, I will do match reactions soon. So yeah, that's it for today. So yeah, I will see you in more prediction videos.